God says, "My beloved, listen with the urgency of a heart that will not be delayed. You must stop this as soon as possible." This is about the home you are living in, the place where you rest, the walls that hold your laughter and your tears, the rooms that have become the theater of your days. I speak now because time presses. 5 minutes remain on the clock of this moment, and I ask you to open these words quickly on the date I have placed before you. September 21st. Hear me not as a distant echo, but as the voice beside you in the quiet of night, the hand that steadies you when fear threatens to make you falter. There is something in your household, in the pattern you have tolerated, in the small decisions you have put off, that must be stopped. Do it now, not later. Do it with courage and the knowledge that I am with you. Do not imagine I come to condemn. I am calling you to protect what I have entrusted to you. Your home is more than timber and brick. It is a sanctuary where souls are nurtured, where the weary find rest, where the vulnerable are kept safe. Yet, even sanctuaries can be compromised by habits of neglect, by the slow surrender to bitterness, by choices that invite imbalance into the very rooms meant for peace. Perhaps it is a conversation that never ends without wound, a habit that erodes your dignity, a relationship that requires boundaries you have been afraid to set, or an arrangement you have allowed to fester because change seemed too costly. Whatever it is, beloved, it must stop, and you must stop it. I am calling you into decisive action because staying still will not preserve you. It will only deepen the harm. When I say stop, I mean stop the small betrayals against your soul, the toleration of disrespect, the acceptance of routine that drains your joy, the silence when your heart needs to speak. Stop the unkind words you repeat like a worn record. Stop the compromises that inch away at your integrity. Stop the choices that place convenience over covenant. If finances are mismanaged to the detriment of peace, stop spending as if tomorrow owes you nothing. If anger cycles through your household like a storm, stop feeding it with words you can never take back. If neglect has become habit, stop pretending everything is fine when your spirit is crying for repair. These are not minor infractions. They are the cracks through which sorrow enters. Close them now. I know the reasons you have delayed: fear of confrontation, fear of loss, fear that others will judge you, fear that the cost of change will be too great. These fears are real, and I do not minimize them. But I ask you to measure the cost of staying against the cost of obedience to what is right. What do you gain if you keep silent tonight and feel a little safer, yet wake tomorrow with a heavier soul? What do you lose if you set a boundary and someone leaves, but your home gains dignity and peace? Beloved, the shelter I have for you is not found in the absence of difficulty, but in the presence of truth and courage. Choose truth. Choose courage. This call to stop involves practical, tender steps. Begin by looking closely at the rhythms of your home. Where does tension most often arise? Which doors lead to the repeated arguments, the silent treatments, the sense of being unseen? Start small if you must. A single honest sentence spoken at the right time can detonate a chain of healing. "I need this to stop" is a sentence of power. It need not be loud, it must be clear. Say it to yourself first, so your own heart knows you mean it. Then say it to those who share your space, not as an accusation that wounds, but as a plea that seeks restoration. When you speak, let humility lead, not shrinking from your own faults, but refusing to accept what harms you. If healing requires the removal of certain habits, make a plan. Decide to stop whatever undermines the peace of your home. Whether it's late night arguments fueled by alcohol, the chronic comparison that steals joy, or the small cruelties disguised as jokes. Replace them intentionally with new rhythms. An evening of silence after a storm, a practice of gratitude before sleep, a weekly check in where each person can speak without interruption. The practical becomes sacred when done with intention. These new habits will not fix everything at once, but they begin to rebuild trust brick by brick. There may be things in your home that require more than a conversation. Patterns of abuse, manipulation, or addiction that have taken root. For these, stopping means taking firm, immediate action. If you are unsafe, seek help now. Call someone who can protect you, a trusted friend, a family member, local services that exist to preserve life and dignity. I am God of deliverance, but I also gave you hands to reach out with and resources to use. Use them. There is no shame in asking for safety. Shame belongs to the silence that permits harm to continue. Do not wait because you hope it will change on its own. Change often requires the courage of at least one voice that refuses to normalize evil. In the quiet after you decide to stop, be gentle with yourself. Stopping destructive patterns is not a single heroic act, but a daily discipline. You will face setbacks. You will have moments of regret and doubt. In those moments, remember that I am patient with the process even as I urge you to act. Repentance is not humiliation, it is the soil of new growth. When you stumble, get up. When you speak a hard truth and it is not received as you hoped, do not collapse into despair. Reaffirm your resolve. Seek counsel from those who love you well and whose wisdom is proven. There is strength in wise company. Practical stewardship of your home is part of this calling as well. A house that is cluttered, neglected, or mismanaged often reflects an inner disorder. Attend to the physical spaces as a reflection of spiritual care. Clean what needs cleaning. Repair what is broken. Create intentional places of rest and conversation. Invite light into rooms that have grown dull. Sometimes stopping means clearing space, removing items that remind you of pain, clearing out belongings that anchor you to a past you are called to move beyond. A decluttered environment can help unclutter the heart and mind. Do not underestimate the power of a well-ordered table, a repaired lock, a freshly swept floor. These are small acts of faith that reshape the atmosphere of your home. On September 21st, when you open these words and feel the 5-minute urgency, let it land on your chest like a tangible nudge. Take 5 minutes immediately, not to panic, but to plan. In those 5 minutes, write down the single most damaging thing you are tolerating. Name it plainly, without apology. Then write the first step you can take within the next 24 hours to stop it. That first step may be a phone call, a text, a true sentence spoken across a table, or a plan for leaving. Commit it to paper. Pray over it. Ask me for courage and clarity. I will meet you in that small, decisive act. Remember that stopping is not the same as shrinking back from love. In truth, the boldest form of love is to refuse to let someone remain in a pattern that destroys them or you. Sometimes love demands distance so healing can begin. Sometimes love speaks the hard truth that redirects lives back toward the path of dignity. If your stopping causes grief, hold both grief and courage. Grief is the evidence that what you are doing matters. Courage is the means by which life will be renewed. Let the tears that come be sanctified, not wasted. Let them water the ground for a new season. I promise you this. When you obey this urgent call, when you stop what must be stopped and make room for what must be welcomed, your home will breathe again. Joy will not be manufactured instantly, but it will return with steadier steps. Peace will not be fragile, but will grow resilient. The children, the partners, the friends, those whose lives intersect with your household, will begin to sense the shift. Even if not everyone chooses to come with you, the seed of change will be planted. It will take root in ways you may not yet see, and in time its fruit will be evident for all to taste. You are not acting alone in this work. I am at the center of it, aligning circumstances, sending help, and strengthening your hands. Do not be surprised if this call to stop also frees you to start something new. When destructive rhythms are interrupted, creative space is born. New conversations will begin. New patterns of hospitality, kindness, and accountability can be formed. The home you are to steward next is not a replica of what has been. It is a reimagined sanctuary shaped by wisdom and grace. Welcome the reforms as a gift. Celebrate the small victories. Give thanks even for the painful pruning, for pruning precedes growth. Finally, my child, trust me with the outcomes. You may fear the consequences of stopping, the loss, the loneliness, the financial uncertainty. I know these fears intimately, and I will not abandon you to them. When you do what is right, even when it costs, I will provide the sustenance you need. Provision may come through unexpected hands, through new opportunities, through the quiet provision of a neighbor's kindness. My care for you is not sentimental platitude. It is an active, practical governance of your days. Walk forward in the assurance that obedience does not lead to ruin, but to restoration. Now, take a deep breath and make your choice. In these 5 minutes and beyond, say the words you must say, take the steps you must take, and stop the thing that jeopardizes the sanctuary of your life. I am with you in every step. I am the defender of the weak, the steadier of the wavering, the voice that calls you home to wholeness. Do not delay. Stop now and let the healing begin. Beloved one, sit with these words and let them sink into the quiet places of your heart. I am still speaking, and my voice does not hurry though urgency presses. This is the tenderness that summons action. Where part one asked you to stop certain things, Part 2 now shows you how to hold steady through the first trembling days after you make that choice. For the work of stopping is only the beginning. The work of tending, repairing, and reshaping the life inside your walls is the faithful, patient labor that follows. Listen as I guide you through the tender aftermath, the practical care, and the inner strengthening you will need to make this season one of real restoration. First, recognize the muscles of your courage. When you decide to stop a pattern, you have already exercised a rare strength. Do not underestimate it. Courage is not a single roar, it is a continued choosing. Each morning you wake and choose truth over ease, you are training those muscles. When you speak the hard sentence, "This must stop," and feel your mouth tremble, you have begun a new habit of integrity. Celebrate that beginning, however small. Make a quiet ritual to mark it. Light a candle, write the date somewhere, say a short prayer of commitment. These small acts anchor the moment in your memory and give you something to return to when fear returns. Second, build your circle of safety. You were not meant to carry everything alone. Identify the people who can hold you, who will not minimize the pain you name, who will speak truth in love and protect your confidences. These may be family members, trusted friends, a counselor, or a community leader. Tell them plainly what you are doing and what you need. Ask for specific help, a place to stay if you need to leave, a listening ear at certain times, someone to watch the children for an hour while you think. People are often willing to help when they are given a clear invitation to do so. Name the request and accept the hands that reach toward you. Third, make a small, immediate plan that honors safety and dignity. If the choice to stop could provoke resistance or escalate, create a practical safety plan. Know where you will go if you must leave in the night. Keep a bag with essentials in a safe place. Save contact numbers in a place no one else can find. If finances are tight, begin a discreet savings ritual, an envelope, a hidden account, a trusted friend who can hold money for you. These steps are not shameful, they are wise. Preparation is faithful stewardship of the life I have given you. Fourth, begin the work of conversation with heart and boundaries. If stopping involves confronting another person in the home, plan the conversation with care. Choose a time when tempers are low and words can be heard. Speak from your need rather than accusation. Use I statements. I feel unsafe when I need rest and kindness in this home. Be specific about the change you require and give a reasonable time frame for it to begin. Boundaries are clarifying. They show others what is acceptable and what is not. If the other person resists, remain steady. Boundaries are not ultimatums meant to punish, but the clear lines that protect a life and invite accountability. Fifth, tend to the children and vulnerable ones in the home with extra tenderness. Young hearts are deeply affected by the rhythms they witness. Explain, in age-appropriate ways, that you are making changes to make the home safer and kinder. Reassure them that they are loved and that the changes are because you care for them. Create small, consistent rituals, bedtime readings, short walks, a weekly meal, so their sense of safety is rebuilt through routine and presence. Your consistency becomes a healing salve for tender souls. Sixth, guard your inner life. Stopping external patterns is often accompanied by an internal storm, shame, second guessing, loneliness. Protect your inner world by creating rhythms of restoration. Daily breathing or short prayer pauses, journaling the small wins, reading words that lift and instruct, singing a line of music that reminds you of a better story. These are the soft disciplines that rebuild resilience. When the dark voices rise, name them and refuse their authority. Replace the lie, I caused this, or I must endure this forever, with truth. I deserve dignity. I have permission to protect my life. I am not alone. Seventh, practice gentle administration of your household. Attend to lights, locks, food, and comfort, practical things that signal care. Repair what can be repaired: a broken latch, a leaking tap, a torn curtain. These small acts say to your spirit and to others, this place matters. Invite beauty back in where it was allowed to fade. Place fresh flowers. Hang a picture that reminds you of hope, or simply sweep a room until the floor gleams. These are acts of faith and respect for the life you steward. Eighth, keep faith with the long view. Healing rarely moves in a straight line. Expect setbacks. When they come, hold them lightly and return to basics: safety, support, prayer, and practical steps. Tell yourself the honest truth: progress is messy but real. Mark the improvements, even small ones, so you can look back and see growth. When fear says nothing will change, remind yourself of the time something already shifted. Memory of small wins fuels future courage. Ninth, pay attention to how you speak about this season. Language shapes destiny. Avoid narrating only the horror of what passed. Tell a truer story that includes your dignity, your decisions, and God's persistent care. Say, I am choosing safety and peace, rather than I am trapped and helpless. Use verbs of agency. This does not deny pain, it reclaims power. 10th, invite professional help when needed. Counseling, legal advice, social services. These are not signs of failure, but wisdom. When the weight is too heavy, bring it into the light with a trained helper who can offer tools and perspective. Therapy can teach boundary setting, trauma care, and communication skills. Legal counsel can clarify your rights and options. Practical help is part of God's provision. As you move through these days, watch for unexpected moments of grace. A neighbor's casserole left on the doorstep, a friend's message at midnight, a small job offer that arrives when funds are thin. These are not coincidences, but tangible kindness. Keep a gratitude list, short and honest, so that your eyes remain open to the help that often arrives in humble forms. Each item you add is proof that you are not navigating this alone. Finally, remember who you are in the midst of the work. You are beloved, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. You are worthy of a home that honors your spirit, a life that values your presence, and relationships that enrich rather than deplete. Let this truth be the steady drumbeat of your days. When the world says otherwise, return to that truth by simple, steady steps. Breathe. Remember your circle of safety. Act with clarity and trust that the shelter you build will not be fragile but resilient. Beloved, I walk with you through each hesitant step. In the hush after the sentence is spoken, this must stop. I am present, ministering courage, arranging help, and steadying your feet. Keep moving, even if the steps are small. Each step is a reclamation of the sanctuary I intended for you. The path ahead is not without challenge, but it is lined with mercy. Keep your hand in mine as you tend this house, and know that restoration is unfolding even now. Beloved child, now the moment has arrived for the fullness of understanding to settle in your heart. You have heard the call, acted in courage, and begun to reclaim the sacred space of your home. I am speaking now to seal this work with my presence, to pour peace into the corners where fear once dwelled, and to show you the eternal pattern of blessing that follows obedience. This final word is not a repetition, but a culmination, a promise, a reinforcement, a declaration that your efforts, your courage, and your trust have aligned with my will. The home you steward is not only a dwelling for the body, but a sanctuary for your spirit. And when you have honored its sacredness, you honor yourself, your loved ones, and the design I placed before creation. Do not mistake the calm that is beginning to form for the end of effort. Restoration is not a single moment. It is a river that flows steadily, patiently, powerfully. You will continue to tend it, watering it with honesty, pruning it with discipline, cultivating it with love. Each act you take in alignment with my guidance strengthens the home's foundation. Each hard conversation you initiate, each boundary you maintain, each habit of grace you introduce into the household becomes a brick in a lasting structure of peace. You are not working alone. I am with you in every room, behind every door, in the silence and the words. I breathe life into every corner where courage moves first. Remember, beloved, that your obedience has cosmic weight. It is not only for your benefit. Every positive change in your household radiates outward. It shifts atmospheres, affects relationships, and transforms patterns for generations. The energy you release in standing firm will reach those you may never meet, but who are connected to your life by unseen threads. By protecting the sanctuary of your home, you become a channel of my provision, my justice, my love. Your courage inspires unseen courage. Your clarity models divine order. Your peace ignites hope where despair lingered. Take a moment and envision the home you are building. Walls filled with respect, rooms scented with trust, corners illuminated by patience, doors opened with joy. Children's laughter rings freely. Conversations flow honestly and tenderly. Guests feel welcome, yet boundaries remain firm. This vision is not a dream. It is a blueprint I am actively establishing through your obedience. The invitation to stop, act, and restore was never a warning without purpose. It is a divine tool in my hands, shaping your present and securing your future. In the aftermath of the change, you will notice signs of my presence everywhere. Peace will linger in spaces that once carried tension. Sleep will be deeper. Meals will taste sweeter. Decisions will feel lighter. Even the air of your home will shift to reflect the order, clarity, and sanctity you have embraced. These are not coincidences. They are evidence that I am faithful, that your actions have aligned with heaven, and that grace always meets courage in the divine timetable. Do not let the memory of what was done wrongly drag you back into hesitation. Let the past inform you, but let it not define you. Each step you took to stop the harmful patterns was a declaration of life over fear, of light over darkness, of divine order over chaos. You have spoken truth where silence lingered, acted when waiting tempted you, and honored the dignity of your home when complacency tempted you to look away. For this, I am with you in celebration. I am with you in blessing. I am with you in every breath. As you continue forward, know this: the completion of one season is the beginning of another. The house you protect will become a haven for joy, a place where love is amplified, where relationships thrive in honesty and safety. And the best part, beloved, is that your obedience is a signal to the universe, a declaration that you honor my design, that you choose life over destruction, and that you will not settle for anything less than the sacred calling I placed upon your home. Heaven rejoices in the fidelity of your choice, and angels are dispatched continually to reinforce, restore, and celebrate.